I finally had the chance to try the YONGNUO 12-35mm lens, which has macro close-up capability. At first, I wondered how close can this lens get, because this is one aspect of the lens that past reviewers of this lens did not review, and I really needed to know. So in this video, I am going to review the close-up capability of the YONGNUO 12-35mm lens as a pro macro photographer, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to know if you need this lens in your camera bag. My name is David. I am based in the hot region of Nigeria, where I take pictures of the little heroes of our planet and talk about them in videos like this. I help sharpen skills for macro photography, and I also review gears like this for macro photography. If that sounds like something you'd like to see more of, then you should consider subscribing to the channel. Now let's get into the review. YONGNUO was intentional about the amazing unboxing experience they wanted everyone of this lens to have, and that did set an amazing tone for me once I took this lens out of the box. It's well built, and being a black lens, God, I like black things. Black shirt, black lens, everything black, black cap. And I just knew I was in for an ultimate thrill ride, so I loved it at first sight. This lens has 4 physical buttons, and that is the taking off the lens hood first, focal length switch, and the manual focusing ring, and then we have the AF and MF, which stands for autofocus and manual focus, and then we have the macro on and macro off mode, which I'm going to talk about just right now. Now, what macro on and macro off does is that when macro is enabled, like by turning it on, it means you can get as close as you want to your subject. Now, if you notice, I said as you want, not as close as possible, and there's a reason why. And I'm going to tell you as we keep moving on. If you turn it off, it should be off if you want to use this lens for any other purpose that is not macro. But even when it's off, I discovered that it was still able to focus closely, though not as close as when it was turned on. So yeah, that's just it for the buttons. One impressive thing about this lens is that focusing on it is very, very fast. Like, let's say ultra fast. I mean, it just focuses as a native Olympus or OM system lens, and I'm using Olympus and OM system, so that's why I'm using that. And I also like the fact that with this lens, you can do autofocus bracketing with it. I tried it with my EM5 Mark II and my OM1, and it was fully compatible with autofocus bracketing, shooting at the maximum number of frames that my normal Olympus 60mm macro lens does. So that was something that I was really stunned by, because I did not expect it to do that. So for a macro lens or for a close-up lens, because it's actually not like a macro lens but a close-up lens, it does do well to know that, yeah, we macro photographers, we like to do brackets. So yeah, that's a very good one, Yovo. Thumbs up. So I'm currently on the YONGNUO 12-35mm lens right now, and this kind of shows you that it's not just a good lens for a macro photographer because you can take close-up photos with it, but because you can do quick vlogs with it while you're out hunting or doing whatever you're doing. So yeah, I really like it for that. In today's test, I did do a couple of extra things, and one of them was testing how close you can actually get with this lens. When it comes to how close you could get with this lens, your subject could touch the front element of your lens and it would still remain in focus. Found that to be very impressive because it showed that this lens is not just a gimmick lens, but it actually delivers what it advertises. This lens does not magnify, but because it can let you get that close, it means you can fill the frame with your subject, and that means you are revealing more detail of your subject. So it's actually very good in that aspect. At one point I was like, yeah, I mean, this level of closeness is actually very good, and just proves that it's not a gimmick, you know. But do we really need it? Because if we are shooting with natural light, it blocks out the light. So I did struggle there. I had to attach a diffuser. For all the pictures that we've seen in this review, I used the Signal-Stick diffuser, which I use for my 60mm macro Olympus. And it's not tailored for this lens. First of all, this lens has a bigger filter thread, like it's 67mm compared to the Olympus, which is at 46 or so. So first, I couldn't even fit it in, and I had to keep the diffuser on top of it. It's certain that if there was a diffuser made just for it, it would do better. and that is even visible in the photo. Still, the lens did do exceptionally well. I attached a diffuser and a flash, and the photos did come out even better than it did shooting natural light, and that even makes me like the lens more. In terms of weight, this lens weighs 318 grams according to YONGNUO official website. Now, I had to use the site because I don't have like a scale. In terms of price, it's 420 USD. YONGNUO did send over this lens, so I don't know how fairly priced that is, because some people consider the used gear market like buying second-hand gears, and sometimes it's better than just buying new gears. So let me know what you think of the pricing of this lens and if you think it's great. I'd like to add that I really like the fact that this lens can do autofocus bracketing with my cameras. I think I observed something about it today, which is that it only supports autofocus bracketing when it's on autofocus mode. When it's on manual focus mode, it does not support autofocus bracketing. And how different is that? Yeah, it's kind of different from my 60mm macro, because that supports autofocus bracketing even on manual mode. God, this lens is heavy. I mean, yeah, it would make I don't think it would make a good vlogging lens anymore, because how are you going to hold this up without, and oh man, no. But yeah, it's good. I mean, if you're a gym bro. So yeah, I should be a gym bro soon. Not that I need it. Of course I need it, I'm getting older. So, yeah, I guess that's just it for the moment, and we'll head back. I think I'm getting distracted out here because lots of people are looking at my beard and damn. Okay, so that's it. So we're back inside. I'm still on the YONGNUO 12-35mm lens. It could be my new favorite lens for recording videos like this going forward. And having it on a tripod is quite better because, I mean, you don't have to struggle with the weight of it anymore. And it's time to just round this video up. Now, the first thing I'm going to start is going to be the one thing I don't like about this lens, and that is the visible chromatic aberration at 12mm when you're shooting close-ups like flowers and things like that in high contrast environments. This is really noticeable in certain situations with certain subjects, and even when you try editing it out in post, it just doesn't go away. Fortunately, it does not happen when you're shooting with artificial light, that is a flash and a diffuser, so that's the good part about it. Now, to restate the things that I really like about this lens, because I like several things about it, but I'm just going to state the ones that really just bust my head. I like the fact that this lens actually lets you get close to focus. It's not one of those gimmick close-up lenses that it's just said to be a close-up lens, but you can't actually get that close. With this lens, you could touch the subject and it would still be in focus, so that's something that really blows my mind about this lens. I also like the fact that it lets you do autofocus bracketing, even though you have to be on autofocus mode on the lens. It's still a very good one, and yeah, it's great. I like the build quality of this lens, and according to your official website, this lens is weather sealed. I've not actually tested that. I mean, it's very tough to just want to expose your lens to water, but I do trust YONGNUO saying that it's weather sealed, because I mean, they said it's a close-up lens, and yeah, it was, so I believe them. If you have this lens, do tell me what you think of it in the comment section. And if you don't already have this lens, but you're thinking, could this lens be for me? Let me tell you the class of people that I feel this lens could be for. If you are looking for a secondary macro lens, this lens is for you. If you are looking for a wide-angle macro lens setup, this lens is for you. If you need a lens that you can use for macro while using for daily stuff like vlogging or maybe any of those things while you're out on adventures, this lens is for you. If you also need an everyday carry, which you could use for close-up photos of flowers and insects, if you ever stumble upon one, it's also for you. So I feel this lens is for a broad category of people, and you may just be one of them. And it doesn't matter if you already have a dedicated pro macro lens, this lens just does, it's like in its own league, to be honest. So that's who it's for. Let me know what you think of this lens if you'd like to get your hands on one, and maybe if you're impressed with how it performs, or maybe if you're not impressed by its performance. Once again, I'm David Joseph at ABCD David, and thank you so much to YONGNUO for sending over this lens and not having any input in this review. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video, and I'll see you next time.